The IBF is not playing no games. You know, if they strip Saul Canelo Alvarez, they will strip anybody, as he is one of the best fighters and the most famous fighters around. If your name is not Tank Davis or Ryan Garcia, Canelo Alvarez is running the show. There are a lot of other great fighters, but they're not as famous, like Teofimo Lopez and David Benavidez. But if they strip Canelo Alvarez, no one is safe. And I see this as a mixed bag. It has good and it has bad. The good is that the IBF is willing to strip anybody because they are avoiding their mandatories. The bad is that there will not be an undisputed fight between Terence Crawford and David Benavidez. I personally believe that the belts are losing their value, as no one really cares about the belts anymore. Well, they do, but not as much as they used to. Say Benavidez and Canelo Alvarez actually fight. Do people really care if the belts are on the line or if one belt is missing? I really don't think so. I think that fight is gonna be big anyways. Just look at Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney. Now Devin Haney is really accomplished. He was undisputed at 135, and Ryan Garcia has not been a champion, but he beat up Devin Haney pretty bad. So what does this make Devin Haney if he got beat up by a C-level fighter that he knew since the amateurs and he only has one hook? But I believe Devin Haney is still a great fighter. I just think he overstayed his welcome at 135 and he overstayed his welcome at 140, even though he was only in there for a little bit of time. I think Devin Haney should have moved up to 140 a long time ago. Then right now he should have moved up to 147. Because I have never seen a boxer look as drained as Devin Haney has. But Canelo Alvarez is stripped because he does not want to fight his mandatory against William Skull from Cuba. He is an undefeated fighter, but he's not really known. So Canelo Alvarez right now just wants to make big fights. Except for the David Benavidez fight, he is asking a ridiculous amount of money to make that fight. But I do believe if they do come up with that amount of money, he will fight him tomorrow. Canelo does not duck any smoke. Maybe he doesn't want to fight the fighters at that time when the fans want them to fight him, but he does fight them. But if all the other promoters, the WBC and the rest follow what the IBF is doing, I think it will save boxing. Because if they don't want to fight their mandatories, and usually when somebody is a mandatory, they're a dangerous fighter. They're in that position for a reason. And nobody will want to be stripped after going through so much trouble to get into that position and becoming a champion. Now I know two fighters that will never get stripped. They'll probably just lose the bout if they lose to a good opponent, and that's David Benavidez and Teofimo Lopez. These guys do not duck any smoke. I know there's other fighters, but I'm just talking about the most famous ones. But I think Ryan Garcia doesn't duck any smoke either. I know Terence Crawford is probably mad at the IBF because he got stripped too, and that just takes, if Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford do fight, he will not be undisputed at 168 anymore. And I know Terence Crawford is a special talent, but I believe the weight is just too much, as he has to go up 3 weight classes to fight one of the best fighters in the world. It's not like he went up to 168 to fight William Skull. He went to go fight Canelo Alvarez, and that is a tall task. So even if the belts were all on the line, I don't think he will ever become undisputed at 168 because I think he loses to Canelo Alvarez. 21 pounds difference. That's a lot of weight. But you know what? Now it's only 14-pound difference because he is gonna fight at 154 against Madrimal. So we will have to see how he does at 154, and there's no guarantee that he's gonna beat him. This guy is still an undefeated fighter with only 10-0, so he does lack experience. Terence Crawford is a beast. You guys know what he did to Errol Spence. He made Errol Spence look like an amateur. Now this was Terence Crawford's best performances, and he didn't look this spectacular against lesser fighters. I think David Avanesian did a lot better than Errol Spence did. So there's always questions on this fight, and Errol Spence came out with a bunch of excuses saying that he had cataract surgery and he could not train because he suffered from a rib injury due to some sparring sessions, and the guy that actually did it came out and stated to be a fact. But what do you guys think about what the IBF is doing, stripping these fighters from being undisputed? Usyk is gonna be stripped too, but they're gonna allow him to walk as being undisputed. Then immediately after that, they were gonna strip him for the title. Don't forget to subscribe and share the video.